Okay guys, so I'm sure you're very excited to start making cocktails, but first of all what I want to do is show you the cocktail tools and also alternatives you might have at home. So first of all, the ice bucket. Now, don't worry if you don't have an ice bucket, there's an alternative. You can use a wine cooler or a champagne cooler like this. It's very easy to do, always make sure you have something to keep the ice in. Next of all, I've got my nice paring knife which I use to make cocktails, but it's not an issue to use this kind of knife. You can use a fruit knife, and also when you're making zests, instead of using a knife, if you don't have one, you don't feel comfortable with using one, you can use a potato peeler, like this. Next of all, we have a muddler. What I use this to is, pulverize some fruit, really get the juices out of them, but don't worry if you don't have a muddler at all, because you can use things like a rolling pin or other back ends of other utensils you have in your kitchen. Here we have a juicer. This is very important for getting the juices out of citrus like orange, lemon, lime. This is the one we use, it's known as a Mexican elbow, but don't worry if you don't have a Mexican elbow. So you can use a straight generic juicer just like this and it works just as fine. Next, we have the julep strainer. When I use this with the cocktail shaker, you're obviously using it to strain the cocktails out into your glass. Don't worry if you don't have this or even your two-piece shaker, because what you can use alternatively is a jam jar. Now what you do with this, you do the same, you add the ingredients into the jam jar, put the lid on, give it a shake, just like you would a shaker. With the strainer as well, put that on the top. Instead, alternatively, if you don't have either, you can use the lid as a strainer into the glass. If you really need to fine strain it, even using the jam jar, you've always got your fine strainer. This is one I use, it's more used to bars. Don't worry again if you don't have this, because you can have these things at home, the kind of loose leaf tea strainers you have as well. Next of all, and most importantly, because obviously at the end of the day, you want your cocktails to be very nice, tasty, and most importantly balanced. We use these. These are called jiggers or measures, so we've got a single shot and a double shot. Again, it's not vitally important you have these, because what you can use is a shot glass. And I'm sure some of you party animals at home will have a shot glass. So I'll just demonstrate the measures here. So we've got a single shot here. See, pretty much 2/3 of a shot glass there. But again, the way to do it is you need to get the ratios going. If you have 2 spirits to 1 citrus, you can still do 2 shot glasses to 1 shot glass. Just make sure it's always got the same balance, the same ratios basically. I think also what we all have and what we all use is a cutting board. This is very important because you don't want to get your tabletops messy and you have cut marks in your tabletops either. So always having chopping board ready to cut fruit and make zests as well. Now moving on to, I've got my bar spoon. I use this to measure out spoons worth of syrups, stirring ingredients together. Again, don't worry too much if you don't have a bar spoon, because of course everyone at home will have their teaspoons. You obviously use these at home for yogurts and stuff like this, measuring out sugars. Exactly fine, because they pretty much have the same measurements as a bar spoon to a teaspoon. So I've got a mixing glass here. I use this to stir drinks. One thing to also think about when you have a shaker and a mixer is basically the mixing glass you want to use with clear spirits, clear liquids, whereas you usually tend to shake with citrus, cream or eggs. But when I use this, don't worry again if you don't have this, because alternatively you can use things like a pitcher. I can use this and I can stir and make a drink just as well. Another thing to think about as well when you're making cocktails, for a big party, you can probably make 1 or 2, even 3 sometimes, of a batch per shake. But one thing to really save time is you can really batch up, just measure out the ingredients you need in this pitcher, and then alternatively, then once it's full, keep it in the fridge, keep it cold. But when the party starts, you can just keep topping up your shaker, giving it a shake, making the drinks, and repeating the process. Pour some more in, keep going. Really saves time when the party starts to get busy. Also, we're talking about batch making large amounts of cocktails in the pitcher. We can have punch bowls as well. This is really easy to really make a punch and then all you have to do is add ice to the glass. Again, it's no biggie if you don't have a punch bowl, because you've got all these potential punch bowls at home. Here is a cooking pot, perfect to make a punch in. So don't worry too much about not having a proper punch bowl. You can use a salad bowl, even a fruit bowl as a punch bowl as well. Also, we're talking about pictures and punches. You can even be a bit quirky about the way you present your sharing cocktails. And you can even use a teapot, use like cups and saucers as the vessels to serve your drinks in, to add a bit of a vintage kind of feel to your cocktail party. And here I've got my glassware. So here, we've got like champagne coupe or a cocktail glass. We've got highballs, rocks glass, got your champagne flutes, and of course wine glasses as well. Now you might be looking at my glassware and thinking, wow, these are really fancy and really expensive. Fancy they are, but the good thing is you don't have to burn your hole in your pocket to get these kind of glassware and have them ready for your cocktail party. You can go to charity shops, vintage shops, and pay next to nothing to get a nice assortment of vintage glassware. So I hope this tutorial makes you guys ready and excited to make cocktails with me now, and let's move on to making some cocktails. Thank you.